Now we will move to the next speaker before the Q&A is Mateusz Kowalski. Mateusz used to work at CERN in the IT department, and he has also worked for companies like Swisscom and also for the ETH in Zurich. He's currently working at Red Hat, where he's creating solutions for distributed computing. And we will know more now from him directly.
Yeah, just tell me, Maria, if you see my screen already, because I know Zoom sharing can be okay, but it works. Yeah, so welcome everyone. Maria already introduced me very nicely, so thank you. I can skip the first slide for this. So quick intro, I will go in a bit of a different order than the previous panel. So I will start by telling you what I do now, and then I will tell you how I went there. So this will be kind of the stuff there. So yes, so the full name where I work, so I'm principal software engineer in OpenShift Bare Metal Networking team at Red Hat. And now, what does it mean? It's like super long name. So what is Red Hat? This part I won't be going too deep. It's a big IT company. If you are working on a daily basis on systems like RHEL Linux, Fedora, CentOS, then this is kind of where it comes from. So the name should be familiar to a lot of people who are in the IT world. Then the next component of this long and strange name, OpenShift. So probably already, if you are into software development and so on, you from time to time use containers, probably use Docker because this is the simple way to go, maybe Podman and this kind of stuff. So at some point, you may have heard about Kubernetes as kind of a way how to run a lot of Docker in an easy way. So of course, as we are a company who needs to make money somehow, we have OpenShift, and OpenShift is Kubernetes plus some additional components. So this is the thing there. Then the next component of this, bare metal. What is bare metal? So I'm going to tell you a bit more in the next slide, but in general, I'm focusing on systems. Okay, so the next component, bare metal. So my area of expertise are systems which are placed either in a data center or somewhere out there in the world. So I do not really work with clouds. So if you are doing something in AWS and stuff like this is not my area. This is too boring for me, and that's. And then networking. So I'm focusing on how to make a lot of systems talk to each other. So this is the networking. So now a bit more about those systems which are bare metal. So we have a part of company doing stuff which is edge device ecosystem. So now I don't work with machines in AWS and stuff like this. What do I do instead? So we have a whole bunch of systems that, medical appliances, cars, so automotive, industrial. So just think CERN and everything what you have, down there in the tunnel, and all the devices that need to connect to some system. Agriculture, this is also something that, is in this area. If you have some very, very new tractor and, it's also connecting to the network. Then we have defense. So drone is probably the best example. And now what happens is also smart cities. So those are all systems that you may think that, who cares about them? Those are just some systems, but those are all systems that, need to talk to something else. So this is, and also special about those systems that usually those are small, systems on chips. They don't have remote management. They are very resource constrained. So again, sounds like CERN. It's not like something in the detector is a huge server with a lot of compute power. Usually it's just one system board, and you cannot do anything with this once you install and start running, LHC. So this is exactly what this kind of edge device is. So yeah, what's the connection with CERN? Yeah, effectively devices on the edge. This is what CERN does. Okay, this slide I will skip because it's too boring. But yeah, so now a bit of stuff, before CERN, after CERN, how did I get there? So I started my studies in 2012 in Poland. Important thing for me to note here is that I don't have a degree in computer science because I never wanted one. I was like, why should I learn computer science at university? This is something we can learn ourselves. So I went and I decided to study mathematics instead, because I wanted to study something that is a bit more difficult and that I know I won't be able to learn just from books. So this is how it went. And yeah, before CERN, I was also doing some apprenticeship, because this is kind of the system that during university you should be also doing something a bit closer to real life. So for so for 1 year, I was working in Nokia Siemens Networks, and this was the first apprenticeship I was doing there. And it was writing some code in Python and stuff like this, which later became a foundation for my specialization in networking. And then I spent a few months at Credit Suisse, but this was relatively boring, and I just put it, here for the logo. But this is not something that impacted my career. The milestone is, summer 2015. I joined CERN as technical student first. Then I get, well, not really promoted, but I apply for fellowship and I get the fellowship. So between summer 2015 and then 2018, I'm at CERN, and I work in IT departments for all this time. I do various stuff around telco and networking a bit. I write some Python code again. It's all the time in IT. So I'm not doing science per se. I'm just doing systems that enable other people doing science. So this is my story at CERN. But from software engineering perspective, I write a lot of code. It's mostly Python code, but also, whatever needs to be written is there. If you need to write C, you write C. If you need to write Bash, you write Bash. So, but then as for everyone, fellowship ends and you need to do something with yourself. So I knew that I want to stay in Switzerland, so I applied to Swisscom, and I got the job there as system engineer, I would say. So this was a mix of software engineering and DevOps. I was writing a bit of Java there. Again, Python, because this kind of goes all the time. But I knew that this is not company of my life. I just needed something because my contract at CERN, was to be finished, and I needed to move somewhere. And Swisscom was a good brand to have in Switzerland. Then something that was a bit more of a conscious decision was moved to ETH. But I didn't move there as a scientist. I moved there as an engineer. So I was working in the network security group. So there were around me people doing science, but I was writing code there. And this was a good mix of still, I was missing the atmosphere of CERN a bit. So I was like, okay, ETH should be nice, but I don't want to do research there. I don't want to do PhD. I want to be an engineer. And that was the nice thing. And again, what I learned there was programming, but also a lot of soft skills from area of, how to manage a project, how to work with customer, because it's not a corporation. So we were a team of like 10 people, and you had to do everything from designing a product to selling the product. So, good experience. And then 2021, I moved to Red Hat, and this is the place where I'm now. So I moved to Red Hat because overall, this is in the area of what I was doing. Red Hat is one of those companies that you want to work on. So if you want to do low-level system engineering and this kind of stuff, Red Hat is one of those places that you think about. So I applied there, and this is where I'm staying till now. And my time is over now. So yeah, this is it.